Nithya Balasubramaniam also with us, Sanford Bernstein, to discuss the Gland IPO and lots more. Nithya, good morning. With regards to the listing, is this a company you see with strong return ratios that are likely to continue even after this? Share with us your initial thoughts on the IPO.
Strong company operationally speaking. So when I used to handle strategy and BD at Cipla some time back, and I've had the experience of working with them directly. And I can speak from personal experience as well that in terms of their tech transfer abilities, their ability to absorb a new technology, scale it up very quickly, the wide range of capabilities they have in injectables, the extremely reliable supply and a fairly blemishless compliance track record as well. These are all very important things for their customers, right? And I think Gland really scores very well on all of these fronts. So operationally extremely strong company. And if you look at injectables as a market opportunity, I think there is enough opportunities out there in the developed markets as well as China that Gland can go ahead and capture. So I think around a 15-16% growth number in the next 4 to 5 years is possible. And of course, given that they're backward integrating as well, and they've been able to drive operating leverage, I think the operating metrics that you mentioned, these high EBITDA levels of 35-38%, return on capital employed being 25-26%, I think this should sustain into the near future.
Investors are expecting 18 to 20,000 of market cap versus 24, which has come out, Nithya. Does that matter so much?
Yeah, I think the IPO has been a bit of a yo-yo, right? I think investors were expecting them to list around the 18,000, 19,000 crore mark. And then when the pricing was finally revealed, it ended up being a 23,000 kind of valuation number. So I think there has also been enough reports in the news that the grey market premium went down. And I think last week was also not the greatest one for pharma in general. The Pfizer vaccine news happened, and then the result season. So I think there was a bit of let's say the buoyancy came down, but I think it's back because going back, how many companies can actually, if you just step back, right? How many companies can actually boast of, let's say, a 15% growth number in the future and the kind of operating metrics that we just discussed. So I think they're listing at, if you look at the IPO price, they're listing at around 15x post-money EV by EBITDA. And I think if you look at the peer set and if you look at what they bring to the table, I think 16-17x is a fair number, which is why I think even after that 1,500 today, I think current share prices are trending already at 1,800 rupees.
Right. Okay. Nithya, do you expect cost savings within pharma companies now to continue? And where do you think we can see sustained recovery, in margins? Do you think that is on the cards for most of these pharma companies?
Yeah, I think I'm one of the believers that some of the cost savings that companies have seen through COVID is likely to outlast COVID as well. So if you look at Indian companies, where do they spend in sales and marketing, right? They spend on doctors. There's a lot of money that goes towards engaging doctors on an ongoing basis. And there is a lot of money that's spent on your sales force itself, right? Salaries and travel and incentives and, performance management, etc. So I think when it comes to marketing expenses, which is the monies that you spend on the doctor to continuously engage them, I don't think there will be much savings on that front, because once the market opens up, your medical reps have started meeting the doctors. I think almost all of that cost is likely to come back. But where I think we are likely to see sustained savings is actually on the sales expenses, right? And to be specific, so you will start seeing that if reps are meeting doctors, let's say thrice in a month, they're likely to meet him twice in a month. And then the third one is likely to be a digital engagement, right? So the number of times the rep meets a doctor could actually go down. And when that goes down and your call averages goes down, let's say in your metro or tier 1 towns, in your managerial sales force, you could actually increase your span of control. Right? If a manager is handling like 5 to 6 reps today, he could potentially handle 7 to 8 reps. And I also think given that people are now far more comfortable using digital tools to engage, I think reaching out and penetrating into your smaller towns will actually now come at a lower and lower incremental cost, because companies are more likely to be bolder and rely on digital tools of engagement. So I think in the sales part of the expenses is where you're likely to see these savings. And I fully expect that to sustain into FY22 as well. But just one caveat, I think it's actually important that the management feels that this is something that they can push through, because it's very, very easy to let costs come back. I've had experience of handling budget, so I know how difficult it is to control expenses. So if you're seeing the top management push this through, and I think that's true in the case of some of the commentaries that we have heard this quarter, Cipla's been talking about it, Alkem's been talking about it, Dr. Reddy's been talking about it. I think if there is a top-down push, you're likely to see sustained savings right into the next year as well.
Okay, sounds good. I have to ask then, Nithya, you've been tracking the sector quite closely, and over the last 3 to 4 months, basis the kind of movement that we've seen within the Indian pharmaceutical sector, what has been your observations? Are there any top recommendations that you have within this space?
Yeah, I think if you go back to the last 3 months, I think obviously all the stocks gained, the sector as a whole gained quite a bit. But then post the results, there's been a little bit of profit booking almost on all the names, at least the names that I cover, all of them actually bet consensus, but then the stocks actually corrected after the results. So there's a little bit of what I think is uncomfortable, a little bit, people are getting a little uncomfortable about the valuations the sector is commanding. And of course, the rotation out of the sector was anticipated when the Pfizer vaccine announcement came through. So which I think is a good thing, which means that a lot of people invested in pharma because they thought it was a safe haven compared to a lot of other sectors. So I think that impact is now I think removed given where the prices are. So from here on, it's actually about fundamentals, right? You really need to pick the company which is a great pipeline in the US. You need to pick a company that has very strong commercial capabilities and leadership in the India market. So in my mind, I think my top picks remain Cipla, Dr. Reddy's, Sun, and Lupin, though the pecking order has changed. The pecking order is what I just mentioned right now. Cipla followed by Reddy, followed by Sun, followed by Lupin. I think there is still room in these names, given that these companies have a very strong pipeline in the US, and these complex generic opportunities that a lot of us have been talking about for the last 3-4 years are now actually materializing, right? These are products that have now hit the market, and you're seeing companies scale up market shares. And these are extremely profitable opportunities as well. And when it comes to the India market as well, we are seeing a very strong recovery. Both September and October has seen double-digit growth rates in the market, which is a testament to the fundamental demand that exists in the market. And again, companies with very strong leadership like Abbott or Sun, Cipla, because of their COVID drug exposure, etc., have done really well. And I expect them to continue doing well in the future as well. So those 4 names, I would say, are my top picks, where I still see room for growth.
Okay, Nithya, great to have you on the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out and telling us about your views in pharmaceuticals.